Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi to Zayin Amid Bet. On the bottom of the Daf, the Gemara talks about Dovid Hamelech, who acted in very extreme manners. Sometimes he'd be sitting learning in the Bait Midrash, sitting on the floor. The Gemara describes like a worm in the most humble manner, listening to the Torah of others, hearing it out. And that was unbelievable humility as the king of Israel. And other times, he'd be a warrior out in the field, killing hundreds of people at a time. Gemara says he would kill 800 people at once and be upset that he didn't kill 1,000. The pasuk talks about one person running after 1,000. That was Dovid Hamelech. To me, this is a quality that is absolutely essential for human growth and spirituality and closeness to Hashem. We must never be ruled by any of our personality traits. We might have some nice traits and we could have inclinations towards them, but they cannot be the arbitrator. The Chachma Bina Dat must be the final ruler, what we should be doing, how we should be harnessing our personality. At times we have to be sweet and soft-spoken, at times we have to be kind, at times we have to be tough. And if a person cannot go ahead and manage that, but rather his natural inclinations take over, then he will be moving further away from Hashem and not closer. Let's give a few examples. The Torah writes that Avram Avinu, one of the kindest, sweetest people that we've ever had, he naturally wanted to help out all the people and to the point that he was so saddened when no one came to visit him after the Brit Milah. Hashem had to bring the Malachim so that he could go ahead and do Achnasat Orchim. He was just a kind, sweet man. The question is, was that simply his personality or was it a Shita? So the Nafka Mina came out at the Akedas Yitzchak. According to the Gra, that was the Nisayon. To go ahead and do something which seemed absolutely cruel against his whole nature. So the question is, what is Avraham's operating forces? Was he simply a man who followed his sweet inclinations, so then he's not going to be able to kill his son? Or was he a person who followed emes? And emes, of course, is what God dictates to do. And when God dictates to do chesed, you do chesed. When God dictates to go ahead and kill an enemy, you kill an enemy. And if God dictates to kill one's own son, well, that's emes. And that was Avram's test, to see if his natural chesed was just that, a natural chesed, and that's all it was, beginning and end, or it was part of a bigger plan. And chesed was just the fulfillment of emes, because most times a person should be involved in chesed, according to Hashem. Another example is Agag. Agag went ahead, he was the king of Amalek, and Shaul killed much of the nation, but not the king. So he was held in captive until the leader, Shmuel, came. He saw Shmuel, and he says, Achin Sar Mahamavet. According to the Ralbag, that meant that I'm in good shape now. This nice, sweet Zaidi of a man, what's he going to do? Give me a slap on the wrist, put me into jail for a few days, few months, but otherwise I'm in good shape. I thought I was going to be facing some tough warrior. And Shmuel said, you made a bit of a mistake here. I am that tough warrior, and you are going to die. And Shmuel himself, the aged tzaddik and zakein, was a very tough warrior, and told him, just like you killed so many people, and you caused so many widows, so now that's what's going to be with your family. And he went ahead, and he destroyed him with his own hands. Shmuel, the nice tzaddik, when it's appropriate to be a nice tzaddik, and he was the warrior and the executioner when that was appropriate as well. Another example, Rambam, Hilchot Torah writes, tzaddik, Talmid Chochom, should be kind and sweet. Someone insults him, it just rolls off his back. It means nothing to him. That's all nice and good when it's private. If it's done publicly, the Rambam says, if he cannot go ahead and avenge himself, because it's not himself that's being attacked, it's Torah that's being attacked. And chas v'shalom, the people should attack Torah and it just goes without a response. He must have a very quick and harsh response and make it very clear to that person in the audience who's embarrassing the Talmid Chochom, who really is embarrassing and attacking the Torah. He puts him in his place, like a nachash. And if a Talmid Chochom cannot do it, he's not a Talmid Chochom. He's just a nice guy who follows his inclination to be nice. It's not part of the framework of emes. And finally, a tribute to our incredible heroes that we've seen in Israel here, just saving the nation with Siyata Deshmaya at ZAHAL, of course, where they've been through Gehenna, fighting the fiercest, most vicious and disgusting of enemies, and going ahead and doing an amazing job against them. On the other hand, take a look at these same young men at the checkpoint, and you'll see that on the one hand they have their fingers on the trigger ready to go ahead and destroy the enemy. On the other hand, you give them a shalom aleichem, you have that beautiful Jewish smile. So to have both at the exact same moment is incredible. That after 2,000 years of galus, we could be in a situation where we could defend ourselves with siyata d'shmaya, and we could produce these young men who go ahead, young men and women actually, cursed up to them as well, that could go ahead and defend and attack as needed, but also have that Jewish chen is just absolutely incredible. May Hashem bless us with the ability to go ahead and always be the masters of our personalities and to take advantage and harness all of our forces. The sweet forces, which most of the time should be the ones that we employ, but the tough forces as well when they are necessary. And Yetz Hashem, by having that balance and that chachma, we should be able to get closer to Hashem. Shalom.